Hello, a very good morning to you, and many thanks for joining us for Friday edition of Sports Today. STV is another time on TV. What a way to start at the month and the first Friday in the month of September, and also is getting to the weekend. So, a opportunity for us to incarnate the spirit of a weekend twice. Once again, welcome to the show. My name is Ike Okedi, your host on the Friday edition of Sports Today on ABS TV. Up on the bill today, we'll look at the club Anambra Aspire Adaziana celebrate to the second club. We'll tell you how they did in fashionable style. Also on the show, we'll talk about the Awka South Football League goes into Monday night. Anambra Independent Football League Season 7 is expected to October. We'll tell you about the date and also tell you about preparations for 7 in the Football League on the Sports Show. We'll also talk about Bayelsa United. On the foreign scene, we'll tell you about Serena Williams, how she's performing at the Flushing Meadows, the final Grand Slam of the year in tennis. Then we'll talk about the transfer window came to a crescendo last night, 11 p.m. to be precise. We'll tell you about the deals that went through and those that did not go through on the show. We'll also have the fixtures and service of league matches across Western Europe this weekend. And also on the Sports Show, we'll talk about fitness and wellness on the show. We'll be bringing in an expert, a sports administrator on the interview segment to talk us through on that one. But let's begin with our first story, which is about Aspire Football Club of Adaziana. Let's tell you that Aspire Football Club of Adaziana is out in a new government area of Anambra State as part of their corporate social responsibility. On Saturday, 27th August 2022, yes, I commenced a tour of medical facilities and caregiver home in the state. Appreciation to the creator for the second tier of the Nigerian National the NNL as management, staff and playing personnel. Of course, I had on Saturday homes while August 2020 a ton of medical facilities with Specialist Hospital Boromi Onitsha and Iyenu Specialist Hospital to receive champions of the Neros FA Cup, Neros Anambra FA Cup. The team management, medical practitioners and admitted patients in the hospitals are to provide soccer and support our beta financially and materially, especially at these trying times and difficult moments in the nation's economy. Reacting to the development, the team manager of the Adazi and the base side, Augustine Amakom Okoye, stated that the visit was to create an atmosphere of love and hope for the sick and less privileged in the society, as well as to give them a sense of belonging, that despite their condition and challenges, there are public-spirited individuals, firms, and organizations that still care about the existence and welfare. Okoye also posited that the recent visit to the hospitals and caregivers home is akin to the philosophy of the club's proprietor, talking about Dr. Emeka Okeke, who has in no small measures contributed immensely towards human resource management and human capital development in the state. He thanked the management of the hospital for receiving Aspire FC team while praying for healing and speedy recovery of the admitted patients. So we say kudos to Aspire FC for giving out to the needy, the less privileged, and those are hospitalized. That's the way to celebrate your promotion to the second tier of a Nigerian club football. So Aspire FC management, of course, the proprietor, is Dr. Emeka Okeke. He has done a whole lot in terms of human resource management and human capital development, and still doing in the state. We say kudos to him and to the Aspire FC team, also the playing personnel, and also the hardworking team manager, talking about Augustine Amakom Okoye. So more stories about them in due course on the Sports Show. Let's move to Awka South Football League. Awka South Football League is set to enter match day 9, and we'll have results of our league matches, the matches that were played on match day 8. What a story it is for the Wilson FC. The Wilson FC continues from where they left off last weekend, as the Wilson FC went to St. Paul's University Field. They went, saw, and conquered. They obliterated New Saints FC by 4-0. That's the way it ended. In other results, let's also tell you that Omuawolo FC defeated Fortune FC by 2-1 in a match played at the Omuawolo football field, while Peace FC defeated Onkoraf FC by 3-0. The match was played at St. Paul's University Field. Let's quickly look at what the table is like after match day 8 of the ongoing Awka South Football League. The Wilson FC, after 8 matches played, they have 22 points, a goal difference of plus 21. Peace FC, they have played 8 matches and they have 16 points from 8 matches played and a goal difference of plus 7. Fortune FC are third on the log. They have 13 points from 8 matches played, a goal difference of plus 4. Fourth on the log is Onkoraf FC. Fifth is Omuawolo FC. And bottom of the log is New Sense FC. New Sense FC with 2 points from 8 matches and a goal difference of minus 14. So the league will be coming to an end on September. And the Awka South Football. Well, in subsequent edition of the show, we'll try and see if we can get the Wilson FC proprietor and also the club management to be here to talk about their success story in the ongoing Awka South Football League. The Awka South Football League is being organized by the Awka South Local Football Council, headed by Mr. Chekube Ofili, who is the chairman of the Awka South Local Football Council, and the chairman, main organizing committee of the league is Mr. Anayo Obiakov, popularly known as Opi, and also we have the likes of Prophet Miracle Une, chairman of Local Football, also doing his own part, ensuring that football at the grassroots level is brought to the front burner in the administrative capital of Anambra State. Moving away from that, let's talk about Anambra Independent Football League, our third story on the show. The AIFL, the Anambra Independent Football League, is set to commence on October 7th, 2022. That's the official commencement date for the AIFL. Anambra Independent Football League will commence on Friday, 7th October 2022. We hear, based on this, the AIFL Council announced that the opening for new intending teams to join the AIFL Season 7. And part of the requirements are the payment of Season 7 registration fee of 300,000 naira for all teams, while new teams will pay the sum of 350,000 naira for registration. Registration for the new season ends on September 15th, 2022, according to the General Council of the Anambra Independent Football League. Recall that Mekong United FC of Omunze are the champions of the Season 6 edition, while Peace FC of Awka finished second, with Bubendorf FC ended in third place at the end of the season. And the winner, of course, for the AIFL, expected to smile home with a sum of 300,000 naira, the runners-up 200,000 naira, and the fourth place team at the end of the football season, a third place team rather, at the end of the football season, smiles home with a sum of 100,000 naira. So once again, we say kudos to Mekong United FC for their heroics in the Season 6 edition of the Anambra Independent Football League, and for the organizers for doing a yeoman's job. Is a league being chaired by Reverend Father Coach Obinna Dike. He is a man at the helm of affairs of the Anambra Independent Football League. We now go to Onitsha. Let's talk about Onitsha Unity Cup. That's the first story on the show, in the mode of the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge. Yes, the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge enters match day 11 with amazing results being recorded from different match centers. A total of 19 matches have been played in the second edition of the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge, bankrolled by Chief Remi Juice Uchenna Anyadike, a lover of sports and human capital developer. We may tell you the competition, we started on Sunday, the 21st of August 2022, saw defending champions Jimbas FC of Ihiala defeating Galaxy FC of Onitsha of Obosirada by 4-0. And the winner of the competition smiles home with a sum of 3 million naira. Runners-up goes on with 1.5 million naira. The top place team is expected to win 500,000 naira, and there is something of a consolation for the fourth place team. They will go home with a sum of 150,000 naira. There are also individual prizes at the ongoing Remi Uche Soccer Challenge happening in Onitsha, which 32 clubs are involved. There's a prize for the highest goal scorer, most valuable player, best defender, best goalkeeper, and of course our best behaved team in the course of the competition. So we'll have to say kudos to the man sponsoring these, Chief Remigius Uchenna Anyadike, and also we'll have a functional LOC in the functional LOC headed by Mr. Austin Kelechi, and then also won't fail to commend the Onitsha North Local Football Council chairman in the person of John Ubendu, who is ensuring that in the course of the competition they dot their I's and cross their T's. But let me run through the fixtures of matches that to be played as the competition continues, talking about the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge. Yes, DJ Alonso will play Peace FC in Fege today, while Kamso FC is expected to take on Oge Gold at Global FC Modebe. On Saturday, we'll see Sankey Stars FC take on Jimbas FC in Fege, while Volcans FC is expected to play Olive Charles FA, and that match is also coming up in Modebe. On Sunday, we'll see Upstars FC will play St. Charles FA, while Miri FC will take on United FC. The match will be played at the Chuba Ibazu Stadium. Well, let me just run through some of the results of the matches I played at the ongoing Remi Uche Soccer Challenge in Onitsha. Let's tell you that Aqua FC played out a goalless draw with Miri FC. Mekong United FC lost 0-1 to Anambra Rovers FC. Peace FC played out a goalless draw against the Godza FC. Oge Gold Global FC 1, Ochoma FC 0, Galaxy FC 0, Omoba FC 0, Barak Bombers 1, Global FC 3, Ozala FC and Lotto also played their own game. The game has been rescheduled owing to force majeure, and Life Flight FC lost 1-2 to Wakwa FA, while Ndieshi FC defeated Mekong by 1-0 in the course of the competition. So that's the story ongoing right now at the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge in Onitsha, being bankrolled by Chief Remigius Anyadike, and subsequently in other editions of Sports Today. Be sure we'll get you all the details of what is happening in Onitsha as regards that one. And quickly, let's talk about what's happening in Bayelsa. Yes, let's tell you that Bayelsa State Governor Duri Doye has charged that Bayelsa United to win the title in the upcoming Nigerian Professional Football League 2022-2023 season, adding that his administration is considering construction of a new stadium following the team's promotion to the elite Nigeria Professional Football League. And Governor Diri stated this on Tuesday night at a dinner in honor of the management players of Bayelsa United held in Yenegua. And it may interest you to know that last Saturday the team emerged as champions of the Group B Southern Conference of the 2021-2022 Nigerian National League NNL after defeating Sinosho of Abakaliki Ebonyi State by 2-0 in their last game at the Samson Siasia Sports Complex in Yenegua. So their governor right now is encouraging them to go all out there and ensure they win the 2022-2023 season of the Nigeria Professional Football League. So we'll be watching out for Bayelsa United, and let's see what they can do in the upcoming season. And we'll take basketball news away from football. Let's tell you that basketball can overcome off-court problems that have plagued the game to supplant football as the number one sport in Nigeria. That's according to the vice president of the NBA Africa. The West African country will withdrew its team from international competition in May at the behest of the government, which intended to dissolve the Nigeria Basketball Federation, the NBBF, and appointed an interim committee to oversee the management of the game. And the decision was reversed a month later, but then it changed the direction as the women's national team, the Tigers, were affected and they lost their place at the World Cup in Australia, which begins next month. However, the men's side are still competing for qualification for next summer's World Cup. So we'll be watching out for that, and let's see how the changes are being done in the NBBF now is going to affect basketball on the positive side of it. Looks looks like the rift they are having at management level has been sorted out. Quickly to the African scene, Morocco has appointed Walid Regragui as the new national team coach, and a 46-year-old former international who played for Toulouse and Racing Santander takes his charge following the departure of Vahid Halilhodzic. We hear the Bosnian had led the side to the quarterfinals of this year's AFCON in Cameroon and then secured World Cup qualification in March following a 5-2 aggregate win over DR Congo. Regragui, meanwhile, won the African Champions League title with Casablanca in May and added the domestic title, the domestic league title. And away from that now, let's talk about something else in sports. Let's talk about athletics. Let's tell you that Germany has agreed a compensation deal with relatives of Israelis killed during the 1972 Munich Olympics, and 11 Israeli athletes were killed after being taken hostage by members of the Palestinian militant group. The £24 million deal was struck and days before the 50th anniversary of the tragedy, and families earlier this month threatened to boycott a commemoration of the tragedy, saying that the amount that they were offered was too low. And Israeli President Isaac Herzog welcomed the deal, calling it, and he said it was an important step by the German government, and the Munich massacre on the 5th of September 1972 is one of the darkest chapters in Olympic history. Well, quickly, and to tennis break, let's tell you that Serena Williams her singles titles without a fight after beating second seed Annette Kontaveit on another remarkable night at the US Open, the Flushing Meadows. And Williams are ranked at 605 and turning 41 next month, won 7-6, 2-6, 6-2 to stun the Estonian in New York. The American recently announced her intention to retire after her home major and is now in the third round, we hear. Williams will play Australia's Anja Tomljanovic next this coming Friday. And a few weeks ago, it's actually today I'm meant to understand from the stories are coming through. A few weeks ago, Williams announced she was ending away from, she was actually edging away from playing tennis in an essay for fashion magazine, we hear Vogue, but agreed after beating Montenegro Danka Kovinic on Monday. She had been vague about the exact time of her return. And quickly too, football back again. Let's tell you that the Football Association is reviewing an incident where a Newcastle staff Newcastle staff member, of course, monitored the situation in a match and confirmed there was abuse on the sideline. But according to report, a staff member appeared to throw an object towards the Liverpool technical area during the Reds 2-1 win on Wednesday, and players and staff from both teams clashed after Fabio Carvalho's 98-minute winner at Anfield. It is unclear if the incident captured on television sparked the melee in front of the dugout. So that's a very sad story there in a sad story out there in the game between Liverpool and Newcastle United that ended with Liverpool getting the goal in 8 minutes of added time in that match played at Anfield. And quickly to the transfer window before we go for a break. Well, let's tell you that the transfer window ended last night, 11 p.m. to be precise. Some deals did not go through, some went through for some clubs, but top on it is that Chelsea. Chelsea have completed the signing of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang from Barcelona and Juventus midfielder Denis Zakaria. And let's also tell you that Aston Villa have announced the signing of Juan Bedinak on a season-long loan from Southampton. And Southampton have completed the signing of Marseille centre-back Duji Kaleta. Everton's Andre Gomez has joined Lille Lux Metropole on loan. AS Roma winger, we hear Justin Kluivert joins Valencia on loan with 15 million euros option to sign permanently. And let's also tell you that Girona have signed Manchester United Vallejo from Valencia, and Fulham have signed striker Carlos Vinicius from Benfica for around 4 million euros. And you saw the picture of the Nigerian out there talking about the Nigerian Samuel Ikechukwu Edozie, who's been signed by Southampton. He will be playing at the St. Mary's this season. He was signed from Manchester City. And also, let me also inform you that Southampton also completed the signing of defender Ainsley Maitland-Niles on loan from Arsenal. And Hector Bellerin has moved to Barcelona in a cut price fee. His personal terms agreed, and then he has moved to Barcelona. He's now a Barcelona player. Memphis Depay couldn't leave the Camp Nou. He will remain there. So that's the story coming through from the transfer window. We'll try and see if we can get you some other transfers being made before the closure of the window by 11 p.m. last night, when we'll come back on the flip side of Sports Today on ABS TV. Stick around.
Great news for Anambra Broadcasting Service ABS audience. You can now watch ABS television through any of these ways.
Buy a terrestrial antenna and connect to your television. Search ABS Channel 24 Oka or ABS Channel 27 Onitsha. Install StarTimes cable decoder and search ABS Channel 113. Install Metro Digital cable decoder and search ABS Channel 29.
Watch ABS TV on your smart TV or smartphone by downloading Anambra Broadcasting Service app on Google Play Store. Also watch via ABS Facebook page at ABS Radio Television and ABS YouTube page at ABS Television Oka.
ABS TV is now also on satellite. You can watch us from anywhere in Nigeria and other African countries. Simply install our TV decoder brand and tune to channel 315, or install any free-to-air satellite decoder and search for ABS TV.
Whichever option you choose, stay abreast of breaking news, documentaries, children's shows, talk shows, comedy, sports, movies, and lots more on your darling TV station.
For adverts and program sponsorship, contact 0803-388-8526 or 0806-883-9902. ABS, Heartbeat of the East.
Welcome back to the show. Sports Today on ABS TV is what you are watching, the Friday edition of the show. My name remains Ike Nwokeda, and of course I've taken you through the results of matches that played in the Oka South Football League. We also talked about Aspire FC of Adaziana, what they are doing to celebrate their qualification for the Nigerian National League promotion. And then I also told you about the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge coming through in Onitsha, and of course the fixtures are for that one. Maybe I should just go through the fixtures once again for the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge happening in Onitsha. I'll tell you that today DJ Alonso FC will play Peace FC in Fege, or at Fege. That match is coming up by 2 p.m. Kamso FC will take on Oge Gold Global FC in Modebe. And also on Saturday, Sankey FC will take on Jimbas FC. The match will be played at the Fege football field, and Volcans FC will take on Olive Charles FA. It will be played in Modebe football stadium rather, and Upstars FC will take on St. Charles FA and Modebe, St. Charles Football Academy, while Miri FC will take on United FC at the Chuba Ibazu Stadium. And those are the fixtures that are coming through for the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge happening in Onitsha, being bankrolled by Chief Remi Juice Uchenna Dike, and it's a competition that started last year. Jimbas FC emerged and the champions of that competition getting into this season, and Jimbas started well in the first match of this 2022 edition of the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge. They defeated their opponent Galaxy FC by 4-0, and Jimbas FC are on cruise control. I think they've won 2 matches right now. They are getting getting towards the third group match, and if they win that one, they will top their group and play a less fancy side. So we'll be following through on that one. I'll be keeping you posted on the development as regards the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge happening in Onitsha. That's the story for the Remi Uche Soccer Challenge happening in Onitsha. 32 clubs are involved in that one. Prize money of 3 million naira to be won. Runners-up will get 1.5 million naira. Third place team will get 500,000, and fourth place team Smile Soon with a sum of 150,000 naira, with all the individual prizes also involved in the course of this competition. So that's what's happening out there. I also told you about the Anambra Independent Football League, expected to start on October 7th to be precise, and registration for the AIFL is on at this very point in time. Also told you about Bayelsa United, Doye Diri, His Excellency Doye Diri, the Executive Governor of the state, what he has promised at the site to do. He has urged them to win the Nigeria Professional Football League come next season, and that he is looking at also putting another stadium. Maybe the likes of Money Michel, Chive Biebwe may now have another job to do in Bayelsa to put up another stadium for Bayelsa State, and for teams like Bayelsa United and also the Bayelsa Queens to feature and play football. Remember, Bayelsa United was last season. It was all about Bayelsa State in sports, in wrestling, for the wrestling for the state team. When you talk about Dunaya Adekuroye, them, and Bless Noboro Dudu, a whole lot of them. And then you also talk about their football team, how they won the ITO Cup, but for the male and female version. I watched them at the Samuel Obomudia Stadium as a Bayelsa United saw off Nasarawa United. Yours sincerely was there to see that game. What a match it was out there. And Bayelsa United, you may have to say, did the double for the male and female version of the 2021 ITO Cup. So we'll look forward to them featuring in this season's. Looking forward to them featuring in the Nigerian Professional Football League, the elite division in Nigeria, and we wish them all the best. 2022-2023 season, we are looking forward to the league management company to tell us when the 2022-2023 season will be starting for the NPFL. I also told you about Serena Williams. She has moved into the third round. She's getting into her third match for the day, and she's expected she will be playing. We'll hear this Friday. She'll be playing Australia's Anlia Tomljanovic coming up this Friday. So on Monday, we'll serve you the results of what's happening at the Flushing Meadows. And quickly, before we jet on the show, let's just run through the fixtures of all the matches to be played this weekend. Auxerre in France. Auxerre, let's start with France, the Ligue. Auxerre is expected to take on Olympique Marseille. Lyon will host Angers. Nantes will play PSG. Montpellier is at home to Lille Lux Metropole. AC Ajaccio will play Lorient, and Brest is at home to Strasbourg. Toulouse will travel to Clermont-Foot. Reims is at home to Lens. Troyes is expected to host Rennes. Nice will play Monaco. In Germany, Borussia Dortmund will host Hoffenheim. Bayer Leverkusen will take on Freiburg. Bochum is at home to Werder Bremen. Union Berlin will take on Bayern Munich. VfB Stuttgart will take on Schalke 04. Wolfsburg will play FC Cologne. Then Eintracht Frankfurt is expected to take on Leipzig on Sunday. Augsburg is at home to Hertha Berlin, and Borussia Mönchengladbach is expected to host Mainz. In Spain, let's tell you that in Spain this Friday, Celta Vigo will be at home to Cadiz. On Saturday, Real Mallorca will host Girona. Real Madrid is at home to Real Betis. Real Sociedad will take on Atletico Madrid. Sevilla at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan will take on Barcelona. Osasuna will play Rayo Vallecano. Athletic Bilbao is at home to Espanyol. Villarreal will take on Elche. Valencia is at home to Getafe, and Real Valladolid is expected to take on Almeria. While in Italy, the Serie A, Fiorentina is at home to Juventus. AC Milan will will host Inter Milan. What a cracker it promises to be at the Stadium Giuseppe Meazza out there in Italy. Lazio is at home to Napoli. It's also another cracker. This one will happen at the Stade Olimpico in Italy. Cremonese will take on Sassuolo. Spezia is at home to Bologna, and Verona is at home to Sampdoria. Udinese will welcome AS Roma, and Atalanta will travel to Monza. Salernitana will play Empoli, and Torino is at home to Lecce. In England now, the transfer window has ended. We'll be looking forward to see what those players that have been injected into the team, what they will bring into the team heading into match day 6 of the league. But watch out for the Merseyside derby coming up on Saturday, 12:30 to be precise, at lunchtime. Everton is at home to Liverpool, 12:30. By 3 p.m. Brentford will host Leeds United. Chelsea will take on West Ham United in a London. Newcastle United will host Crystal Palace. Nottingham Forest will take on AS Bournemouth. Tottenham Hotspur will play time. Aston Villa in Birmingham. Manchester City, while Wolverhampton won. And on Sunday, Brighton and Hove Albion. Manchester United will play Arsenal. Watch out for that cracker on Manchester United, Arsenal, a big cracker. We'll be watching out for it. We'll talk about it on Monday, on the Monday edition of our Sports Today on ABS TV. That's the size of on the show this Friday. Thanks a lot for being part of our Sports Today from the entire team. My name is Ike Nwokedi. Have a lovely weekend doing sports. Bye-bye now.